Today we're going to be solving a first grade math word problem. This standard requires students to solve word problems that call for addition of three whole numbers whose sum is less than or equal to 20 by using objects, drawings, and equations with a symbol for the unknown number to represent the problem. So today we're going to be solving an addition word problem that requires us to add three whole numbers. But before we begin, it's important for us to review the steps for solving word problems. I call this the cubes method because the first letter of each step spells out the word cubes. C-U-B-E-S. So the most important thing to do first is when you see a word problem is just to read it and then go through these steps to make sure you get all the information you need to set you up to solve this problem correctly. So after I read the problem, the first thing I need to do is go back to the problem and circle key numbers. Then I need to underline the question so I know exactly what I'm being asked to do. Then I need to put a box around the math action words, and this is where I'm deciding if I'm adding or subtracting. So if I'm adding, I'll see things like in all together, and if I'm subtracting, I'll see things like taking away, or how many were left, or how many were eaten, things like that. Then I need to evaluate what steps to take to solve the problem next. I need to decide if I'm going to make a drawing, if I'm going to use objects, or I'm going to create an equation. Today, we'll be solving a problem with creating an equation and by using a drawing. Then I need to solve my problem and make sure I always check my work. So let's get to our problem today. All right, our problem today says Katie has 4 cats, 2 birds, and 7 fish. How many pets does Katie have all together? All right, now that I've read my problem, it's important for me to go through the steps for solving word problems. So the first step is I need to go back and circle key numbers. All right, so I'm going to go back to the problem and circle the key numbers. I'm going to circle 4, 2, and 7. These are the key numbers that are in this word problem. Now I need to underline the question so I know exactly what I need to do to solve this problem. The question in this problem is how many pets does Katie have all together? So that's what I need to find out. Now I need to box my math action words. And this is my important math action word, all together. And that lets me know that I'm going to be adding. When I see all together or in all, I know that I'm going to be adding. So now I need to evaluate what steps I'm going to take to solve the problem. So today I'm going to create an equation with an unknown, and then I'm going to do drawings to support that equation. So now that I know that I'm adding, and I have my 3 numbers, I'm going to create my equation. 4 plus 2 plus 7 equals an unknown number. And that's what I'm going to be solving for today. So I have my equation, and now I need to do my drawings. So for 4, I'm just going to have 4 circles. And I always use circles and tell my students to always use circles. That way you don't waste any time drawing cats or birds or fish. And it's always very clear how many you have all together. So I have 2 circles under the 2, and I'll have 7 under the 7. So now that I have my equation and my drawings, it's time for me to add. So let's count these circles all together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So now we know the sum of these 3 numbers. And I'm going to use my erase tool to fill in that question mark for 13 because now we know we have our answer. So when I add 4 plus 2 plus 7 equals 13. So the answer to our problem is how many pets does Kate have altogether? Kate has 13 pets altogether. And I also like to give myself a label. So she has 13 pets. That way they know that we solved the problem correctly. And then another thing that we need to do just to make sure everything is right is we need to go back and check our work. Does this make sense? Does 4 plus 2 plus 7 equal 13? And we can do that by recounting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And there you have it, the steps for solving word problems.